You ready for another session?
Yes, sure.
Okay.
Shoot.
So I was looking at my portfolio that you made for me, and I'd ask you like how did you select these stocks over the decade and like recently?
So you want to know how I selected my portfolio also?
Yeah.
Okay. So first of all, let me tell you that I made a lot of mistakes in my earlier days, and earlier it used to be very simple for me on how to decide what I want to buy.
Yeah.
It used to be either somebody recommending it to me, it could be the broker, it could be a friend, it could be someone like a tipster who's just calling and randomly giving you tips, those text messages that come.
Yeah.
I should just pick up any and started investing in those. And the results are obvious.
Yeah.
I lost a lot of money with that. So it's not that that initially I was successful with my investment decisions. But that's when I started learning. That's where my real learning curve started. So
Okay.
what I started doing was I started researching stocks. I started reading the newspapers. I started listening to news channels. I started reading all these magazines that come.
Yeah.
And personally, I started following a top-down approach.
What is that? What's top down?
So there are two ways you can decide on how you want to select stocks, right?
Yeah.
When I say top-down, I decide which sector it is in. Let's say I decide, okay, the chemical sector is going to be doing well for the next 5 years. Or I see electric vehicles is going to be doing well for the next 10 years, let's say. So I've identified the sector, I've identified the industry here.
Yeah.
Now I'm within that industry, I will select a stock. Okay. The other way is you do a bottom up, which means that, okay, you like a company, then it doesn't matter which sector it is in. But because you like the company and because you know it's doing well, you select that company. Now, it could be a company from this sector, it could be a company from another sector, but you're not bothered about that. You're doing a bottom-up approach. So you're selecting a company versus selecting a sector first and then the company. But I prefer the top-down.
Okay.
Okay. And there are really some things that I look at very seriously. One is corporate governance. Okay, before I really look at profitability, before I come to sales growth, before I come to revenue growth, I look for corporate governance. Number one, is the management good? Do they have a good track record?
Okay.
Have they been fair with their shareholders?
Yeah.
That's the topmost quality you need in any manner, because you're trusting people with your money, right?
Yeah.
Buying a stock is like buying into a business. You have to keep that mindset. You're not buying a stock on a stock exchange. You're buying into a business.
Yeah.
So keep that mindset. So you need people to manage that business. If they are good, you are in safe hands,
Okay.
right? The other thing you look at is how do they manage their debt? Are their debt levels low, or they investing too much money into the business by taking on a lot of debt, by taking on a lot of risk? How much cash are they generating? Those are few key things that you should look at besides sales numbers, profitability growth, because these numbers can be manipulated, right? But cash on books, cash flow cannot be easily manipulated. Corporate governance is visible. If the company is a fraud or something, if they have a bad track record, ignore it. There are many other companies to go for.
Yeah.
If the debt levels are high, forget about it. Unless the business is like a bank or something.
Yeah.
So these are few things that every investor should consider. But there are few things that every investor should not do is go by tips, go by what your broker is saying, go by any article that you hear, that you see on the internet without doing proper research about it.
Okay. And when do you think I can start investing into all these stocks by myself? When do you think is the right time to do that?
So tell me one thing. Are you researching stocks in detail, or are you just looking at news headlines, and what have you been doing in the past?
Just looking at news and headlines. I haven't gone into details yet.
Okay, fair. So what you do is start looking at the details, okay?
Okay.
Because like they say, don't judge a book by its cover,
Yeah.
right? So, and there are things like, I personally only look at my circle of competence, right? So if I understand the industry well, if I understand consumer goods business well, if I understand IT business well, then I look at only those industries, because I can understand that and how the company is doing.
Yeah.
If it is something beyond my circle of competence, then I ignore it. And I know Gen Next is way ahead of us. You guys are smart people. So you can find out, you can look at industry which probably I have not looked at. You can find businesses, identify businesses, high growth businesses which probably I cannot even think of. So, but do your homework, do your research. Once you're willing to do that, put in those extra hours. If you come up with the company, whether I like it or no, whether I understand it or no, you can invest in it, because you could be right, I could be wrong, or it could be it could be the other way. But at least you will learn your lesson, and you will begin your learning curve, because without making mistakes you will not get there. So I'm happy for you to start and make those small mistakes. I'll help you along the way. So we can adjust our investment account amounts accordingly.
Okay. And I also spoke to my friends recently, and they said they want to learn from you. So would you be willing to talk to them about stocks?
Okay.
And they said they want to learn from you. So would you be willing to talk to them about stocks?
Okay. So will they share their profits with me?
I probably not.
No, I'm just joking here. So I'm happy to talk to them. I know you're all young students. So whenever they want to just talk to me, we can set up some time. If whatever questions they have, we can let you know, or we can talk directly. I'm happy to do that for them.
Okay.
So
Yeah, I'll talk to them then.
sure.
All right. Thank you.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.